go, Brandon.
All right, guys, by now everyone's heard about the Lake City Army ammunition plant over in the Kansas City, Missouri area being directed, if you will, that's the only term I know to use, by the Biden administration to no longer sell M855 ammunition to the general public, to civilians. I have called dozens of people at Olin Manufacturing or Olin Chemical, who owns Winchester. I've contacted them. I've gone through their HR department, their marketing department. I've contacted people at Winchester. I've contacted people at the Lake City plant. I've made phone calls all morning long. This particular plant is built on about 4,000 acres. It employs about 1,700 people. The facility itself is not owned by Winchester. It's actually a government-owned, contractor-operated facility. In other words, the United States government actually owns the land. However, the people are contractors, employees of Winchester. And these contracts rotate. I'm not sure if it's 7 or 10 years, but they do rotate. I'm hearing a lot of people saying that, well, if it's Winchester's plant, they can tell the government to go pound sand. They really can't, because they're working on the government's property. So it does sound like the administration, the United States White House, does have some say over what's going on here. But I dug a little bit deeper, and the story typical politics, the story just gets nastier and dirtier and darker the more you dig. According to reports that I found, it seems that early in the administration, the Biden administration proposed cutting small caliber ammunition funding by 30% across the board. Now that's huge. So according to Congressman Sam Graves, the employees of Lake City were not going to take this lying down. The workers at Lake City and Winchester, who operates the plant, both stood up and spoke out about the devastating impact these cuts to small caliber ammunition would have on the community and the country. Mr. Graves took up the cause in Washington, D.C., and he claims that in December of 21, he made sure the Biden administration's cuts were reversed in this year's National Defense Authorization Act, and that he secured the appropriations they needed to avoid disaster in Lake City. He says, "We pushed back against the Biden administration and won." You don't suppose that with the unconstitutional push by the Biden administration right now against guns, along with retaliation of a group of employees coming together and pushing back against the Biden administration and winning, according to Mr. Graves, that maybe this is a little bit of retaliation to make sure that they get their way after all? More on the story, guys. All right, guys, a really quick update to this story. I just got off the phone with Miss Justine Barati, Director of Public Affairs of the Army, running the actual Lake City Army ammunition plant. And from the Army standpoint, from the government standpoint, I should say, they are saying that this is an erroneous story that's going out there. Now, granted, it doesn't mean that the Biden administration has not still contacted Winchester about this, but no correspondence has gone through the Director of Public Affairs and the Army personnel at that same site at the Lake City Army ammunition facility. So again, not saying that the story is incorrect, but according to a pretty reliable source on the base at the facility, this is not an accurate story so far. Obviously, it's still developing. Here's the phone call. We're just trying to get some confirmation before we put a story out on this.
Oh, okay, I know what you're referring to, and as far as I'm concerned, that's erroneous information.
Okay.
From the Army perspective, we have not made a requirement like that.
Okay. Do you know that if that has been made to Winchester in any kind of way?
I can only speak on behalf of Lake City Army Ammunition Plant and the Army agency that runs them, Joint Munitions Command. And from my perspective, that is erroneous information. I cannot speak on behalf of Olin. I tried to get a hold of them. Nobody answered.
We did too.
But I can't